Well, hello. This is Rosa Rubio Giota. How you doing? Rosa from RCG Creations. We're canning yams, sweet potatoes. I really don't know what the difference is between the two, but I think there is a difference, but I don't know. So you're going to slice up, you're going to peel your potatoes, and then you're going to slice them into little bite-sized pieces, kind of like this, okay? Then you're just going to put them in your jars. Make sure they're clean and sterilized jars, which all these are. Make sure your table's sterilized, which it is, and all the tools you're using. Oh, here's a little imperfection. We need to cut that off. Need to go grab my knife. Because basically whatever you put in the jars, what you're going to put in your food, which is what you're going to eat. So any imperfections, always take them off. Okay. Try to fill them as much as you can, because you're going to be adding water, then you're going to have to debubble. So fill them as much as you can. I just got a little bit of hot water in there, just so when I put the boiling hot water in there, it doesn't shock my jars. Okay, let's see. Well, I have enough. I'm going to try to get it in just 3 more jars. Okay, I think I can do that. Then all the little stragglers you have, because we're going to mash these up anyway. And put all your little pieces and your little scrabblers like this. Put them in your jar, because they're going to get mashed anyway. And they're going to turn, these little ones are going to turn to mush, because it's going to process. Oh, what did it say it's going to process for? I'm actually doing 2 things. I'm doing chili and yams today. I'm recanning canned chili. I'm not making chili, I'm just recanning it. Okay, where to put my yams? Okay, I had it here. Okay. Here we go. I had it under dry canning potatoes. So on yams, you want to process quarts for 90 minutes, pints for 65. Okay, and since I'm recanning chili, I'm using the number 10 can we got from Sam's. And if you do pints, you do that at 90, quarts are 90, pints are 75. So even though the yams only require, what did I just say? The yams only require 65 minutes. The extra 10 minutes is not going to make that much of a difference, because I'm trying to save time and because they're going to be mashed anyway. So I don't care if they get mushy, because they're going to get all mashed up anyway. Now, if you want to do these as whole yams, then yeah, I would highly suggest you do it as a separate canning session and do the true 65 minutes on this one. Okay? But since I'm going to go ahead and pressure can these, and I know I'm going to be mashing these, we don't like chunky yams, sweet potatoes. We like them all mushed up and pureed, so that's what they're going to be. So that's not gonna, that extra 10 minutes is not going to hurt these that much. Okay, so filled them all my jars. These extra water, because I'm going to use these same pint jars when I do my chili. So I'm going to take the extra hot water out of these jars, because I don't need it. Let me move my cutting board out of the way, because I don't need it anymore. Get my debubbler. And then let me get my container of water. Get my funnel for my water. Let me add my water in there. I'm not putting salt or anything in here. I'm just doing plain water. And I'm going to leave myself about a 1-inch headspace. Only because I know their potatoes are going to swell just a little bit. The yams. Yams, sweet potatoes again. And I'm not for sure which is which. And I'm going to be honest with you, I ordered these online. I do the pickup delivery. So I forget if I ordered yams or sweet potatoes. I think they're sweet potatoes though. But it could be yams, I don't know. Okay, so they're all filled up. Let me get this out of the view so you can see what's going on. Gonna debubble, and all you're doing is taking the air pockets. You're gonna go all the way down. Always use a plastic item or a wood item. Don't use metal, because metal, no matter knife, fork, whatever, it could possibly leave a scratch or something on your glass jar, and that will compromise it and could cause it to break. And then you're going to have a big mess to clean up after you get through canning. So you want to go all the way down, going to go in the middle, go all the way around it. You want to get all the air bubbles out. So go all the way around the jar. Go in the center. You don't have to baby this, but you don't have to be extremely rough either. Okay, so go down in there. Make sure you go all the way to the very bottom, because the bottom might have a lot of food, and then you want to make sure it's debubbled. Get all the air bubbles out of there. And I just now noticed something on this jar that's got a blemish, and I want to take it out. So this happens. In fact, I'm going to show you. Right there, there's a yam that's got a blemish that I didn't catch. And I want to catch it now that I see it. My hands are clean. They've been thoroughly washed and cleaned. So I know I'm okay in touching this and taking this out. I have a fork here because I'm using these, and this is a metal. And I didn't plan to do this because I just said be careful with metal, but I'm not touching the jar. I'm only touching the food itself to take out, because all I want is that one blemished item. And now I have room, and I didn't touch the jar at all with the metal fork. See that blemish right there? So I'm going to cut that blemish off. See that? And there it is. I just cut it off. That's all I did. So when you're debubbling, this is another good time you get to see if there's any blemishes that you may have missed while you're doing the chopping. Okay, so let's go back to debubble. That one's done. I know I did these. Let me just do it one more time because I just forgot. That debubbler, taking that blemish threw me off track. So, okay, so that's done. I like to use white vinegar. I think it's distilled white. It's white vinegar. You get in a little bowl, and then wipe your rims. And I see this one, this one? It's not exactly all the way to the top, but I'm okay with that because they will swell a little bit. So I'm fine. And this is also the perfect time before you wipe to double check to see if there's any cracks or nicks. And if there is, don't use that jar. Use it for something else that you're not going to pressure can or water bath can. You might be able to dehydrate it with it, you might not, because it may not get a good seal. But I've actually done some that have a little, like a little bump on it, and they vacuum seal just fine. And so I have no problem, because even months and months later, the vacuum seal is still great. It's just one of the things, but I would not take a chance on water bath or pressure canning with any jar that has any kind of just something that's not normal. It should be a very smooth feel on the lid itself. And because this is just yams and water, they're not overly messy, like when you're doing chili or mustard or any tomato product. That one really gets dirty. You probably have to use like 2 or 3 paper towels to do this cleaning of the rims. Okay, so that's done, and I'm using my Harvest Guard reusable lids. Sadly, because of this COVID situation, I'm very disappointed. I've bought in several ball lids and rings, and the metal they're making them out with are not very good. And after the very first use, the lid is totally destroyed. And I know you're not really supposed to reuse your lids, and this is a personal choice. There's a lot of canners that do it and have been doing it for years, a lot of them before COVID, and a lot of them just will not do it. They'll only use it once for pressure canning, and that's it. I have had, knock on wood, knock on my table, it's wood, no issues, and I've had no issues at all in reusing my metal button top lids. So, but because of that, the problem with the lids is when I give these lids to friends with food, they go open the jar and they say the lid just got destroyed. The can opener just wouldn't open it and stuff, and it just shredded it. We had one that I opened, I did, and I have wrist problems, and it just shredded it to pieces. It just ate it all up, and I'm just like, okay. And so you definitely know that is a compromise with the metal, because it happened on the entire 3 boxes of brand new ball lids that I know are ball lids. I'm not going to say where I bought them because I'm not going to pick on anybody. So you want to get your little rubber. Make sure it's these reusable lids have to be soaking in hot water, boiling hot water. I boiled my water, then I turned off the heat, added my lids and the rubber, and then I put them under a covered pot so they stayed warm while I was processing everything else here. Then you add them onto your jar, put on your ring. Let me move this out of the way so you can see. Then you hold with one hand, and then with the other hand you close it. Then once it starts spinning, you stop. That's it, no more. Now the minute you get them out of the jar, the pressure canner, when the processing is over with, that's when, as soon as you put them on your towel to cool, that's when you instantly get another towel or some mittens, oven gloves, and you hold the jar with one hand, and then you tighten the lid as tight as you can get it. And that's going to give you a good seal. And knock on wood, so far I've not had any issues, but with only one jar that did not seal. And I've only had 2 jars that a week later the seal came out. And one of them was on some grape juice, and I was like, whoa, that would have been a big mess. So I always double check every single jar before I pick it up. I'm just basically assuming that the seal is not sealed. So I'm always very cautious when I pick up a jar. From the shelf, from in a box, I just store them, you know, it's like everybody else, I store where I can. I do have a designated area, a designated room. That didn't sound good. I don't think that, I want to make sure it's pretty well centered. Hold on with one finger, and then there it goes. That I store my jars, my processed jars in. So I always just assume, because you know, these are things, you just never know. It's a process. But, you know, I've been pretty lucky and pretty successful. And if it doesn't always happen, because that's just the nature of the beast. And be very careful, because this water is extremely hot, very, very hot. So I'm trying not to touch the water at all. Okay, set my ring right in the lid, the little groove, and then lay it on, then center it. Put my ring on, finger on the lid, Make sure that it catches. See, and sometimes you struggle. Okay, and there it is, and there it's done. So those are done. Now those are ready to be put into the pressure canner. So we'll bring you at the next phase. Okay, now you can see that's a solid, steady stream of steam. Let me move around so you can see the steam. Well, call me a liar. It's still steaming, but it's not. See that? See how it's a full blast of steam? Okay, see, there it is. So that's good. Okay, set my weight at 10. We're in South Texas. Bear with me, I'm doing this one-handed. Okay, 10. So there's the 10. Hope you can see that. Put it on the weight. Ah, there's a little hole. There it is. And then this little steamer right here is where steam's going to come out whenever you have your weight on. Okay, so now we sit here until the weight comes up to 10 pounds of pressure, which is at 240. Once that happens, this is going to start to jiggle. When this starts to jiggle, that's when you start your processing time. So we'll see you at the next phase. Okay, there are 2, 4, 6, 7 jars, pints of chili. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pints of yams that just came out of the pressure canner. Thank you so very much for watching. We catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like and comment. We thank you. Bye-bye.